It just so happens in the studio today is someone I first heard about 10 years ago on this particular radio station. Adam Kontras is with us, and welcome back to Central Ohio native, and you've been out in the loony left of the country for the past 10 years, dealing in the entertainment business. Adam Kontras it's now official because it's on Wikipedia. And if it's on Wikipedia, it's got to be for real the longest running video blog in history. It's called The Journey. And before we get into some of the more details about you, Adam, just tell folks basically what The Journey is and sum that up, in 5 seconds.
First, I have to say News Radio 610 WTVN because it's been 11 years. So the website is simply put, I had News Radio 610 WTVN listeners that had followed me, so I tried to keep them informed of what I was doing when I left to go to L.A. And that's it. I just kept a video blog of all the stuff that happened, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Now, the amazing thing about The Journey, though, is, Adam, you, for 10 years, not only been, writing about your life and doing like a blog diary type of thing, you've been shooting video with just about every single entry. And for 10 years, he tells secrets. There's nothing that's happened in your life the past 10 years, as far as I know, that you haven't just laid out there and shared with the whole world to consume. I've read some entries and even cried myself.
When you introduce a character who's your wife and the wife leaves, you have to explain what happens. You know what I mean? It's one of those, I'm just trying to be honest to the story.
Right.
I want to tell the story right. And the editor in me says, you got to tell that story. You got to show that video.
In this business, particularly radio, but in entertainment in general, you need to be real to the people that you're trying to relate to.
Right.
And quote unquote honest.
Right.
And that's what good people in this business do. But, you laid it all. Is there anything that you probably did not share, do you think? Anything big that you didn't share? You don't have to say what it is.
I don't even think there's anything little I didn't share. I feel like I'm being dishonest to the project, if you know what I mean. Because if I'm lying to that, I'm lying to myself, man. This is my own personal thing. It just happens to be public. So if I'm not honest there, then what's the point? I've lost everything. It's almost like a religion in a sense. If you can't be honest when you go into that room, well, you're kidding yourself. What's the point?
Let's go through your life for the past 10 years. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 19 years old, doing a weekend talk show here on 610 WTVN. Number one, how does a guy right out of high school get a job as a talk show host?
Bill White, who was the program director at the time, got my tape. I was at Otterbein College, actually, my freshman year, and he knew a guy at Otterbein, and they needed somebody. Somebody kind of went crazy on the air. You know what that's like?
Yes.
And they needed an opening, and me and BJ Patton actually put our tapes in, and I beat BJ, and BJ went to B97, I just got on, and we were spinning records back then. TVN was spinning records.
Right.
And so they were starting to go to talk, and I just kept bugging them. Let me do talk. And I did, and luckily, the week I started doing talk, they fired everybody who was just spinning records, and I just kind of hung on.
So you start doing the talk show thing 10 years ago, and one of the things about your talk show was all of the extra work you put in. You had characters, you had a lot of production stuff, some of your music.
Right.
In fact, what would you call yourself? A comedian, a singer, a songwriter, an entertainer?
I guess entertainer, right? I don't know. I just do whatever comes to mind. And it's funny because the whole reason to get into radio to begin with is to get my music on the air. I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. So I said,
were you already doing 4 TVs? Explain what 4 TVs is.
That's what changed it. I went to CD 101, and I was doing a show there for a while, and I was antsy. I just wanted to perform live. And I was doing a cappella music, and I couldn't figure out a way to do it live. And then I thought of this concept of 4 TVs, where I'm on stage with 4 televisions, and each TV is me doing a different a cappella part. That quickly became more of a comedy thing because people just laugh automatically. You're hard-pressed to do real music in that fashion. But that concept, I went, you know what? I think this If I'm ever going to do it, I'm going to do it because of this.
And you were doing 4 TVs at little places around town.
Little places around town. I was hired as a band. It was really cool, actually. I was actually making a good living. They hired me like a band. And hey, I'm all 5 guys.
Were they paying all 5 of you?
Yeah, right. So it worked out really well. But I knew it was something else. And then I got fired from CD 101, and I went, well,
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, right. and so I just said, screw it, this is it, let's go. And my lease was up at the end of December '99.
Do you think if that hadn't happened, would you have made the move?
I would have stayed, because I had actually was just going to be a middays with Joe Jewett, who is now on mornings there. And I would have stayed another year or so. Yeah. I think you have to get fired to do anything.
Yeah, it's the kick in the butt.
It really is, because when you're comfortable, I could have done radio for the rest of my life. But
basically, from reading the Journey, you sold all your stuff, you loaded up the truck, and you moved to Beverly.
Absolutely, and it was hard. The first year was very, very difficult, but then you get a little bit of success, and you just find your way. And I had no problem doing normal gigs. I wasn't that artist that had to be,
What was the first thing that was what you consider like a minor or semi-minor break that you got out there?
Right away, within 6 months, I got involved with Hollywood Screen Test. It was right before the .com bust. They were doing entertainment type stuff on the internet, and that's how I kind of got started. .com bust went away immediately, and I didn't really have a break until 2006 at CBS.
And that was the early show, right?
Right.
Now, how did that come about?
I literally put in a video of me. It's ironic. It was a talent contest where you didn't have to leave your house and you could make it. And that's what I freaking got known for after I had left my house and killed myself for 6 years. But you basically in your living room, I did the 4 TVs bit, and they selected it to be on, and I won the first round. I ended up losing, but the executive producer Steve Friedman really liked it. And
so that's how Adam and the Eagles became the regular thing on CBS.
He flew me out. He flew me out anyway. He said, "You know what? This is awesome. Why don't you just introduce the winner of the talent contest?" And that's all they had for me to do. And I stayed out there for a month and just annoyed them long enough until they gave me a little piece on the early show doing Adam and the Eagles. So.
And then how long did that run for, doing Adam and the Eagles? And then after that,
luckily, while I was there, I was just so annoying to the people because I was at Television City doing it. And there's the Price is Right set, and there's the Young and the Restless. I mean, there's all these iconic sets, and I said, I got to get the Egos on there, and I did. I was able to do an entire bit of all my characters.
Yeah, one of your video blogs has that video of you guys on the set of The Price is Right. How many entries do you have now on the Journey?
This is entry 995.
Wow.
And entry 1000 will fall on January 2nd, which is the exact 10-year anniversary. So, and I'm having a big party. I'm excited.
And what are you going to be doing tonight? When was the last time you were in town and performed? A couple years ago?
04? 05?
Was it that long ago?
I think it was 2004 was the last time I performed here. Doing one of the Ego shows, one of the 4 TV shows. This is actually going to be... I'm still editing it. It's a nightmare. It's like a 90-minute movie, but I'm actually going to be singing some of the songs throughout the journey in between. But it's just this, I've got a huge HD projector, and I'm going to just put on a movie of the whole 10 years. Trying to compress it into like an hour and a half is really hard.
We're gonna get a break in here for a second, and I'll get the information on the show up on my personality page on WTVN. Where can folks go right now if they want to look at coming out and seeing you on the 2nd?
TheOfficialJourney.com.
TheOfficialJourney.com.
There you go.
And you can watch some of the video blogs on there.
It's a little overwhelming.
Do you remember what the number is for Price is Right? Because that's one I would recommend everybody
I know
watch.
the date. If you want to just the isolated bit, it's January 2008. The entry is called The Price of Hope.
And how did you get on that set?
The producers of Price is Right, they liked the Egos. They just thought it was cool. And there was a day when they were black. They weren't shooting on it, and they said, "You got it for 12 hours. Good luck." And I mean, it was the greatest day of my life. I mean, getting to spin that wheel and getting to put my characters on there, and they came. That was the first time they were out of TVs too, and that's when it started to be real and led to the Comedy Central thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Adam Kontras, the Journey 10-year anniversary, going to be in town on January 2nd. We'll be back in just a second. This is 610 WTVN.